Peace and blessing, family and friends, naysayers, whomever. My name is Leon Wheeler Jr., and this is Master Making in Motion. And today's brief topic, the devil made me do it. So, what do I mean by that? Who is the devil? Who is the devil? Interesting conversation, and for all of us, we have different ideas about that, who the devil is. I'm going to suggest that the devil is those individuals who stole us, who brought us over here, and for those who were already here, individuals that traveled the world to control and conquer, whomever they are, whomever that may be. And the most uneducated ones amongst us know, at least if you're up to a certain age, who those individuals were. They were oppressors. Unfortunately, those who created the most havoc on the earth were of European descent. They were white folks. Without a doubt, I believe all humans come from one family, the family of man. However, a construct was created, and the ego or malice, ignorance came into the equation, and a separation was created. Now, that's another subject matter. But I wanted to give you that just as a brief, just to briefly give you that. I believe those individuals who conquered the world, who went around the universe and on Earth, creating havoc, had a goal, had a plan, and it was to control and conquer, to control and conquer. And what they did, those devils, or the devil, however you want to look at it, what they did is they annihilated the greatest, the most sublime, the most humane creation on earth. It was a blissful, somewhat probably atmosphere. The malice was definitely not at the magnitude that it is today, and continually to perpetuate, to grow every single day. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And I believe it's going to continue to get worse until we call the oppressor out, until we totally find a way to annihilate that mindset. Now, what these people did to us, what they done to the world, was inhumane. It was terrible, and it's the chaos. This is the byproduct of what we're going through today. Is the remnants of what they did to us yesterday. And it's sad. It's sad. It's very sad to me because I've come to know this, but it's been really difficult for me to express this, to teach this, to share this. I'm not even going to say teach it, to share this because the way we've been conditioned. And when I say we, I'm talking about black people here in Northern America, North America. However, we suffer all over the globe. I mean, even in our motherland. The, the conquerors went over there and they did their dirt there, and they polluted the mines and rid us of who we are and who we were. So I say that you have no idea. We have no idea. But fortunately, information is starting to become more abundant, and we can learn more about ourselves. And we can tap in. And we're all tied to a spiritual inclination, tied to our ancestors, to our forefathers, to the motherland, to the universe. We're tied to that, and it's in our psyche. I say that we are, black folks, in my opinion, the most spiritual individuals on the earth. And we brought spirituality to the forefront. and it was practiced in different forms, in different ways, depending on the geographical location you were at and whatever your culture was in your particular region in Africa. And it spread. We took it all over. But we had some individuals that came in and they studied underneath us. They was able to come in our tombs and study and become students under our tutelage. And what they did, and I'm sure about this, and my spirit tells me this, I'm 100% accurate. What they did is they took our spirituality, our way of worshiping the Creator or the universe or being in tune with all that is sacred. They took that from us and they repackaged it. They took bits and pieces of it and they put it together and they annihilated our belief systems and made it all bad. They told us that what we believed in was of the devil, that it was evil, that it was no good. And we bought into that. Everything that we believed in, they told us it was nothing. They annihilated it. They did their very best to take away all of our accomplishments and to give credit to themselves. They rewrote our way of living and they forced that into our psyche. And they made us think that what we believed in was taboo, was bad, was evil. And they gave us religion. They gave us Christianity. They gave us Islam, Judaism. They gave us this. They gave us this. They substituted what was that was sacred, that was bliss for the most part, on the earth. And they took it and they stole it and they rewrote it, they repackaged it, and they called it Christianity. They called it Islam, and they called it Judaism. But I tell you, in my opinion, that's not who we are. And I am remiss to say this to you, but I don't feel that I have a choice. I'm trying to speak to you all. I was just blessed yesterday to partake in a family reunion. And I looked at all my cousins from Chicago and Detroit, and I looked at some of the elders, and I listened to them talk. And a few of them spoke about the ancestors and the people who came before us. But we always revert back to Christianity and religion. I don't even want to say that I'm anti-religion, or because, I mean, there's remnants of who we are in that. If you pay attention, I mean, there's a whole lot of it. I mean, it's falsehood strangely mixed with the truth. That's what religion really is. It's because it's founded. The meat of it comes from us, and then they rewrote it and put their spin on it, and they did that to control us. That's what it's about. They they mutilated us. They beat us. They had slaves, and they would make examples of certain slaves that was, I guess, that was what would be considered to be renegades. And they would do certain stuff to them, the ones who just yearned to be free, that didn't want to, who had it in their spirit that they was not supposed to be in bondage or the property of another. And I say to us that until we fight for that freedom, that yearn to be free, from a mental standpoint, until we go to war, until we become rebels again to a system that is clearly, I mean, if you look at it, look at the climate, look at the evil, the harm, the distrust, the lack of loyalty. Look at what's going on today. And you'd have to honestly say it's getting worse and worse and worse. And it's going to continuously get worse until we do a 360, until we change the momentum, until we change the course of this. And the only way The only way we'll be able to do that is by believing in ourselves and divorcing, giving them back their mindset. We haven't, and this, I mean, it's a hard situation to deal with because this is all we know. You know, they taught us this. If you take a baby and you teach a baby from birth that this is the truth, this is the reality, that this is your God, that this is what it is. I mean, that's rooted in them, and it would be rooted in them, and it'd be hard to break that particular cycle. But the way I was created, I'm a rebellious soul, and the devil made me do it. When I say the devil, I mean we got to deal with this on a lot of different levels because it's really deep, and I don't want to go off into what's to come, what should be coming. But the devil made me do it. But who's the devil? Is the devil, or what is that? How do you really, you know? To me, everything that we've been taught, everything that we've been taught in this country, is wrong. It's not for the greater good of us. Now, there's again remnants of greatness inside of all of it, but overall, the 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 evil, the the harm, the detriment, it overwhelms and over. I mean, it beats down, it beats out the goodness. When you speak about Moses in the Bible, you know he was tied to Egypt. You talk about Ham and Shem. You talk about black. We know, and we talk about Jesus in the New Testament when you get to the Revelations and they're talking about the coarse hair and all this. You get remnants. When you talk about Solomon and Sheba, uh, uh, Moabitess, when you talk about all these things in the Bible, you hear remnants of us. When you study Islam and you start paying attention to the region where Prophet Muhammad in Mecca and that part of Saudi Arabia that, well, not Saudi, where Mecca, the area that he was supposed to have been. I mean, these were at one particular time blue black people. Then you even talk about Bilal, who was supposed to have been the Muadhin, the one who called the prayer, was an African. So we're tied to all of it because it comes from us. But what you're studying today is not, that's the paganism. That's not who we are. And it doesn't work. It hasn't worked. Look at your children. Look at yourself. I mean, to me, honestly, as a so-called believer, in my opinion, the worst people that I've ever, the most barbaric, we know the oppressors, the slave owners, the Christian crusades, those individuals who spread this Christianity and Islam. We know that they were some real barbaric individuals. They were evil, so to speak. I mean, maybe they did some cruel shit to spread the religion. They came in by force, and if you didn't accept, you died. They annihilated you. And they made examples. And these are our teachers, and this is what they taught us. And the sad thing is, they made us feel that we were so much less than that we follow them, but we follow them to an extent to where we turn our rage totally on one another. And I'm not suggesting that we turn rage against anyone because as the creators of spirituality, as the founders of all this, that's just not who we are. But we're not doing what's best for us at this particular time. We're not following our own spiritual inclinations. And you may not, it may take you some time to figure out what it is, but I'm telling you it's not what we're doing. I know that for a fact. I know that. I know as a Christian child that I was, the devil made me do it. I was acting out and, I only met a few people who say that they didn't believe in God and stuff like that. And some of those individuals seem to be the most humblest individuals I ever met. But those who say they are Christians and Muslims, and I've been both. I got 20 years in both, easily. 28 in Christianity, and we could say 23 in Islam. And some of my Muslim brothers were some of the most meanest people I've ever met. And the Christians, man, wow. I mean, they did their thing in such a way that you almost, I mean, you couldn't even tell it. They did their thing in a way that, I mean, it went right under you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I'm just, again, I'm not here to, well, maybe I am, call tech or point the finger. I just know that I know this. I know this. And if I'm wrong, blame it to take it, put it on me. It's in my heart. What we've been doing is it doesn't work. It hasn't done us any good, and we've been doing it my whole life. And the elders older, I mean, we've been doing it. We've been doing it for over 400 years, no doubt. And it's getting worse, 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 worse. So I suggest that we divorce that and we find a spirituality, a way of, we have to become rebels again. And the old saying is, you don't take a knife to a gunfight. You know? And again, I'm not talking about physically fighting or harming anyone. Far from that. Because the biggest fight in Islam, they use the word, the jihad. The biggest jihad is the jihad itself. Again, all the religion has remnants of the greatest. I mean, it's truth mixed with falsehood, strangely mixed with falsehood. You know, so you can go in there and find some stuff to motivate you, and but you got to read it. You got to study it. You can't wait and depend on your pastor to teach you how to find your salvation. He needs his congregation because that's how he get paid. So he's not going to teach you how to think for yourself, how to be a free spirit. He's not going to do that because once you learn how to do that, you don't need him. You realize you don't have to go to a physical place to worship God. You realize that God is really inside of you. You know, and again, I mean, we can go on and on about who God is and who the devil is and all that. I mean, that's a conversation in itself. But I tell you this, reading those books, and I've read them, and I kind of want to go into them now again, but I read them, and right now I know for a fact to read them now is just to find the things to just point out to you all, but I already know that God is almost hid in those books. He's almost, I mean, God, I mean, those books were written by men. Men. And you can tell they're written by men because there's certain verses in there that tell you to honor man. And they tell you who God is. They tell you who God ain't. They tell you what God did. I mean, it's a lot of violence in those books. And that's man. It's a lot of violence in those books. It's a lot of murder. It's a lot of killing. A lot. So, I'm not going to stay on today. I just wanted to let you know the devil did it. The devil did it to me. He definitely did it to you. And the only way we're going to get it back is we got to save our kids, man. We got to work with the babies. We got to teach them that they are way larger, way bigger than what they've been told. And you got to believe it, parents. You got to believe. You can't even make your child believe some shit that you don't believe. But you know what you've been practicing don't work. You know, you get some hymns and some, and all that. But just look, pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to your circle. Pay attention to the camaraderie that you have within your household, with your family. You know, pay attention to you. Think about your psyche, how you think. And for me, I've been struggling with this, but I'm gonna fight it through, even if I got to be totally by myself. And that's pretty much the gist of it. And I realized that because I'm going to say some things, do some things, and you're not going to like it. But this isn't for likes. I'm striving to be a master over me. I want to be the example that I want to see. I want to be love made manifested in human form. I want to love you properly, and I want you to love me properly. So I got to demonstrate what that means. And that's a big task because those books, the information in them has misled me. It's given me a whole lot of leeway to do crazy stuff and to contribute to a belief system that don't make any sense. Well, as long as I say I believe in Jesus and I repent and I make it to heaven or something. Now you got to live this shit. You got to be it. You got to be that example for these kids. That's what it's all about, our babies. So if I said anything, I'm hoping that you would like the situation and share with somebody who might be able to utilize it because you know that's how we spread the message. That's how we go. It's how we build a channel and spread the message. So share it and like and then subscribe. And I beg that you put a comment on there. Talk to me. Let's communicate about this. You know what I'm saying? Be respectful. Let's be respectful. I've been doing this my whole life, and it took me a minute to get to where I'm at. But hey, thank God for myself. And when I say God, I don't know who. You know, I'm using the terminology that we use. I don't really know the name to call that power. You know, I just know there's some things that I. Anyway, King is my mentoring book, a book that I've wrote to give us a blueprint of how to teach our babies, to teach young brothers, and to teach young sisters. I laid out a whole format, and it's productive. It's enlightening. You can read this book and you can be entertained and educated at the same time. That's what it was about. I wrote this other book, Up and Coming Players, Code and Ethics. These are guidebooks. These are books written. I wrote them to inspire us to be the best that we can possibly be. You can get both of these books at Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. Well worth it. They're treats, diamonds, in my opinion. I know you probably have possibly lost the desire to read, so you can get it in an audiobook. You can listen to them. But there's jewels in there. And I've done it. I've done it from a perspective of a warrior, from a street. There's no real soft. I mean, I wrote it and I wanted to be intellectually to the best of my ability to speak to you from that perspective. But this is really gangster stuff. I mean, because I consider myself to be a G. And if you want to, you can say I'm a G for God. And I'm a gangster for God. I'm a G. Or you can call me an OG. I mean, but I ain't no soft cat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been, tiptoeing around because I know, the ignorance out here and how it can possibly cause me other issues. But I'm here for the babies. I'm here I'm here to talk to us in a realistic way. I don't want to pussyfoot around. I'm from the hood. I'm from the ghetto. I'm from the streets, the urban community. And it's not soft here. So I'm not talking soft shit. I'm not talking, uh, you know, code and ethics for up and coming players. King, a master in the making. Check me out. I'm here. If I said anything that inspired you, it was motivating, I asked that you like again. And if I didn't, it wasn't for you, it was for me. Holla at me. Peace and love. B.